Thanks for coming, you guys. And there may be more coming. This is Joe Shaleen, and he is a...
S-H-A, that will be on the quiz.
It is.
L-E-E-N.
Joe is a therapist in our counseling center here on campus. If you guys aren't familiar with where that is, it's in the basement of the Commons. And the way, if you decide to make an appointment, which is a great idea, I feel like that's a good idea for everybody at some time in your life, figure out stuff. You go online, and it's under My Stuff, under My SNU, and you fill out a form there, and then they'll contact you, right? Okay, that's it. So we're going to learn about relationships today. So thanks.
Yeah. Yes. S-H-A-L-E-E-N. Excuse me. Yeah, well, real quick, like I said, I just want to kind of hear from everybody as far as what your name is, what your major is, and if you have any specific interest bringing you here today,
Oh,
if you don't mind.
oh, sorry. Sharmina Johnson, I'm the accounting major.
Okay. And if you don't have an answer for that third part, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
Cameron, psychology major. It's a dating relationships on there, so I'm in one of those.
Okay. Great.
Here I am.
I'm Courtney, I'm a theology and ministry major, and I figure going into ministry, you have lots of relationships. It's good to know things about them.
Yeah.
My name is Bridget Range. I'm an elementary education major. And what was the third question?
If there's any specific reason that you came today, other than just
Under
general interest.
relationship, I guess.
Okay.
Brendan Weaver, and a freshman, and I was just decided to come here just because relationships is it's the thing, you know, everybody has relationships, and it's always good to know more about relationships. I'm in a lot of them, so.
Well, once again, you've given away most of what I was going to say today, so. Well, I appreciate you guys just letting me know who you are and why you're here today. This is Cindy Curry, and she is also a therapist in our counseling center. And just to add a little bit to what Beth said, that we really have the privilege of getting to work with individuals who are, for a variety of reasons, seeking counseling services, whether that's due to a specific kind of problem or a specific event, you know, in their life, or whether it's someone who just is interested in learning more about themselves, or kind of the proactive, you know, piece of that. So, hi. There's never a better time in terms of accessibility, probably, than when you're in college or university, to be able to have access to counseling services at a pretty low cost. And the way that we're set up, based on your student health fee that you pay through your tuition, you get your first 6 sessions are free to you at no charge. After that, you get six more sessions at $5 each. And then for the rest of the academic year, any sessions you have beyond 12, it only goes up to $10 per session. So, you know, if you wanted to go for an entire academic year, and it starts over each academic year, so you would get 6 more the next year for free, and so on. So, anyway, just a lot of people maybe sort of know that we're down there, or know that we're back there behind student development, but we're not really on people's radar. So, again, there's lots of reasons that people come to see us, and hopefully, after talking a little bit today, you know, there may be some things that you find worth looking into. So, the way I think about what I do in terms of counseling, part of why I asked as far as what people's majors were was to find out how many psych majors we had in the room, figure out how much repeat information or that kind of stuff I might be giving. So I'm glad to know that there's not too much. But hopefully even for those who have some psychology exposure, this will maybe sound a little different. So the way I think about what I do in counseling, regardless of what the reason is that somebody is coming in to see me, is I don't see myself as a giver of answers necessarily, or as someone who knows all and sits down and counsels people by telling them what they should do, or here's the problem, here's how you go fix it. But really as an asker of questions, and hopefully with some idea of what's going to be helpful to a person or where they may end up, but not necessarily with a pre-planned endpoint in mind. My feeling is, and this isn't original to me, but my feeling is that hopefully the answers that an individual comes up with for themselves are going to be far more valuable to them, and they're going to be able to own those in a way that'll be far more meaningful than anything I might just sort of instruct. So with that in mind, what I hope to do today is ask some questions and hopefully hear from you guys as we sort of dialogue a little bit, so that it's not, again, me just sort of trying to give pretend answers in a really general way, but to hopefully point at some things and help you guys think a little bit about what kinds of questions to ask yourselves, or to just ask in general about relationships. So the word relationship is a good place to start. How to do relationships. When we say relationships, what comes to mind for everybody? Boyfriend, yeah, dating relationships. What else?
Fun.
Fun?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
And
Sometimes not.
hard.
Stress sometimes.
So yeah, the different challenges of being in a relationship, the different parts of that experience that are really fun and enjoyable. That wasn't meant for me to hear, I'm sorry.
I said pain and anguish.
Oh, pain and anguish is also potentially a part of that. Well, and even before we get into the aspects of being in a relationship, I'm wondering just, typically the first place our head goes when we think about relationship is dating or marriage or a romantic type relationship, but there's all kinds of relationships that we're in. So what other kinds of relationships, as you said earlier, we're all in relationships, whether we're dating somebody or not. So what are the big players relationship-wise in you guys' lives?
Probably parents.
Parents, yeah. All the
Friendships.
friendships,
Coworkers.
professional or work relationships.
So teacher, student,
Mhm.
relationship.
Relationship with God.
Spiritual relationship, definitely. Yeah, various family relationships, whether it's parents, whether it's with siblings, other relatives. Not everybody, probably even in this room, grew up in a traditional family where it's just mom, dad, and 2.3 kids or that kind of thing. So from the very beginning, we're all in some kind of relationships. Too often, I think, in this kind of discussion, people feel like, well, I'm not dating somebody, so, what do I have to bring, or I'll wait until I'm in a relationship to start asking questions. So lots of types of relationships. When you guys think about, if you were going to define what a relationship is, how would you define that, or how would you put that to words?
The interaction between people.
Okay. So yeah, interaction between people. Any other thoughts on that in addition?
I think if you want it to be, I think relationships can be intimate. So I think that relationships, when I think of relationships in that sense, I think of intimate relationships, strong and healthy, and communication kind of thing.
And you mean intimacy in terms of deep connection,
Yes.
not necessarily sexual or physical intimacy.
Yes.
Yeah. But all relationships are not intimate, even the ones that we would hope would be.
Yeah, and sometimes that's kind of hard to accept.
Yeah. I like your definition of relationship is the way that two things are related to one another, or the way that two people are connected. I looked up, I did just a quick Google search to see what came up as definitions of relationship, and what it showed, the first couple ones were a close friendship between two people, especially one involving romantic or sexual feelings. And then the second definition was the way in which two things or people are connected. So again, it's not just significant other or just a dating kind of relationship, although certainly we're going to talk about that as well. What does it mean, even to break it down a little bit further, the word relate, or kind of the root of relationship? What do you guys think about how